Today we're going to look at mounting my solar panels and getting them all connected up to my very simple 12 volt system. So I just wanted to run through what I've got, how I'm going to mount it, why I've chose that way, and yeah, we'll just get cracking. So firstly, what solar panel have I chosen? I've chosen these polycrystalline 12 volt solar panels that I got from Amazon. I think they're about 85 quid each, and I've got 2 of them. I'm going to wire them in parallel so that I get like more amps but the same voltage, obviously. You can either choose between monocrystalline and polycrystalline. I mean, to be honest, I don't know enough to be able to make a really strong case about which one you should go for, but all I know is they're basically exactly the same, basically. And the only difference is that polycrystalline has, I guess, a less higher quality silicon that's used for the panels, but there's a lot less wastage when it comes to the silicon. Monocrystalline uses a more refined silicon, but I think, you know, with like current manufacturing processes, it's got better and better, and they're basically about the same anyway for efficiency. So the next question is, how am I going to mount it to the roof? Now, there's a couple of options here. I was looking at using those like plastic molds that you can basically Sikaflex to the roof of the van, and then you can drill through like the pilot holes and it drills into the side of the solar panel. And that's actually really cool because it does keep it low profile. So those plastic guards, they act as like a bit of a wind foil to get the wind to go over them. Now, my issue with that is that I've never really trusted adhesives, and I do know you guys truly believe in Sikaflex. I've heard a lot of stuff about it, the fact that it's probably stronger than the metal it's bonded to sometimes. But that also brings up another worry for me, in that if I want to either move the solar panels in the future or change them for a different shape or size, those pieces, those like plastic molds that are holding the thing down, they ain't coming off. I mean, you would have to basically grind them off, grind back away the Sikaflex, and then repaint the roof. So I've chosen to go for a roof rack that is bolted to the roof, and then the solar panel is then bolted to that roof rack, because then parts can be put on quickly and taken off quickly, and it's just a bit more modular for me. These are these Alti bars. They're sort of like a streamlined aluminium extrusion, and I did have them left over, so I'm going to try and reuse them. They're really good bars actually, really nice and strong. And what I'm planning on doing is taking these and mounting the 2 solar panels to it before I put it up on the roof, and then getting some help to raise the whole thing onto the roof and really quickly bolting it in place. And then all I have to do is do the wiring part. So we're outside, and I've managed to drill all the holes that I need to mount these to these Alti bars. So here are the Alti bars here, and as I mentioned before, they're aluminium extrusions. And to attach the solar panels to these, I need to slide in these like little slider runners. They have little bolt holes in them, and that's what I'm going to bolt the solar panels to. I then took both of the solar panels, and you can see the minus here, and I connected both of the minuses up to this parallel connector. This way the voltage stays the same, but I get a higher Zip tying the excess cables and all the other bits to the back of the racking so that they're out the way and they didn't bang in the wind or anything like that. Up next I'll be mounting the electric housing that allows the wires to go into the van. Now you don't want to mount it here where the rain can possibly build up, because otherwise I feel like it would seep in over time. So I mounted it near the back here where it was a clean flat-ish surface. I used a 20mm hole saw and I drilled in the hole. And then I tightened on the cap, and then the rubber grommet in there tightens around the cable, making a true watertight seal. Guys, one of the really super important things you should think about doing before you start feeding cables and everything, just when you know which one's the positive, get some red electrical tape or red tape of any sort, or any different colour tape, just so you can distinguish it, and just certify which one is the positive and which one's the negative. Because once you start feeding these two cables, they're both just black plain cables, and if you attach the wrong polarities to your system, you're going to blow something up, and that's going to be a very, very expensive choice to make. One other thing you should definitely look at trying to get is a rubber grommet, so that it basically seals around the edge here to stop it being like sharp. Even if you have sanded it, it's just to sort of stop the cable rubbing. I stupidly didn't get one of those, so although I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, I am just using some tape to basically tape off the edges, and now it's nice and smooth. You're not going to cut yourself, it's not going to rub, but you know, oh well. It is getting dark really early now. Right, anyway. So I've got the two cables in. The housing that allows the wires to get in, that's still drying, but it's now sort of set in place. Now I've got to wire up these two cables. So I've already worked out the length I need for the negative, and this is the negative here. So I'm going to wire that up, crimp it up, and then crimp up the other one and get them onto the system. Right guys, so now that the cables are in, I have crimped on a terminal onto the negative. Just going to crimp it a second time just for good luck. So that is now the negative, all ready and raring to go. So I'm just going to basically pin this out of the way while I put a terminal on the positive, because I don't want this touching anything just yet. So this is the positive. This is the one I'm nervous about, because obviously this is sort of like the live wire, the one with sort of the electricity that will be pumping through it. I'm going to make sure this crimps on really well. We have now got our positive and our negative. One thing I'm also going to put in line with the positive from the solar panel is another 30 amp fuse. Right guys, just to make sure that I've got a positive in my hand here and the negatives down here, I'm just going to use my multimeter just to double check it. Yep, so I'm getting 8.6 volts right now. It's quite dark, so I'm not surprised I'm getting so little, but that does mean that this is the positive. Welcome back, DIY Nomads. I basically ran out of light the other night, so I sort of had to finish this in the dark, but I couldn't really record anything. All I wanted to show you was really the finished sort of like setup. I need to, now that everything's in here, I need to tidy up all the wires. But now, the C-Tech, I've got it, the solar, charging my leisure battery, and also, it can also go this way and charge my van battery as well, which is so useful, so it keeps everything topped up. I just need to make this mess look a lot nicer. So there it is, guys. Fitting solar is a really simple job. It's really satisfying, quick, easy job, can get it easily done in a day, and it's such a rewarding thing as well, because now I can basically live off-grid with my electricity, which is fantastic. And with the 2 on there, even during the winter, it's estimated I could get 160 watt hours. In the summer, it's it's like 1200 watt hours, which is nuts. I would never need that sort of amount of power, but I've got 2 because obviously in England we don't get as good sort of sunlight over here, so I want to be able to get as much power so that even during the day when I'm using my highest consumption, I'm still gaining more electricity than what I'm using, which is what you need to be doing. But anyway, thanks again for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.